are. There's 3 lights. That's 4. That's 5. Pause for effect. And it's a lights out, and away we go here in Silverstone with Mikey getting a drive-through penalty for a jump start, but that's fine. And it looked like Branko was caught napping in towards turn 1, but no, he doesn't. He gets the inside line. They're still side by side up with the front runners, and it looks like Foy's holding that one late in the break. Branko goes on the inside in that Ferrari. He keeps it in place, but looking at the back, Cornish is sneaking up in that Aston Martin now. Almost 3 wide going in towards turn number 4, and these two are not giving up. Almost a little bit of collision between the front runners, but Footy loses out to Branko, and it's a great move. Another Max and Lewis situation. Branko's getting there, and we've got a big off at the back. That is AJ is gone at the back. We didn't see what happened there, so possibly a collision somewhere at the back, and that must be a safety car at least, but it looks like they are not deploying at the moment, so we're unsure what happened there. I'm sure we might get AJ in to this a little bit later as we flick through the grid. Going back now side by side, actually staying up front is Cornish and Footy. They took in single file in towards the Magnus Beckett's, but Barenko is using them soft tyres to his advantage, opening the gap 0.8 of a second as they now go down the hanger straight. So hopefully we'll be able to hear what happened to AJ later on, and maybe even see it at the end of the race. Surely there'll be an instant report going in for that as the cars come round to complete their first lap. Gibbo tucked in behind the 2 McLaren teammates of Mitch and Cody. So currently Cody is ahead of his dad, but Brenko setting the fastest lap. Of course, it is the first lap. So at the moment, son is beating dad, but Rob has gained up to 14th position at the moment. So very, very interested to see what goes on later on in the Grand Prix, but he is on the soft tires, and Mikey has pitted, so could have been a collision with Mikey. Don't see, missed the pit stop, so I don't know if he had a new wing. But Footy got a blinding exit in the first sector. Has now closed that gap back to 0.3 of a second. Cornish again tucked in behind as we just let for the telemetry to settle in for a minute. But Footy holds it, catches his front right on the exit of Luckfield. Very well held. And look at that. The outcome is Cornish managed to get past him because Cornish got the better exit. As the cars hold it now, they're struggling for downforce. These 3 cars up at the front are holding their positions. So the worst one of this during these sections of corners is Footy as he looks to go to the inside of Maggots towards OG Cornish. Does throw him offline a little bit, but does get a slightly better exit. You can just see the power of the slipstream at the moment. You can see a little dab of the battery, lifts and coasts a little bit behind Cornish. Knows he's not going to make it through Stowe and holds his line as Cornish goes wide. So that's going to be a warning at least. And these are the 3 close fights. Saying that one, I'm looking a little bit further back, and it looked like Corrie did make a move complete down the hanger straight without the use of DRS on the hard compound tyres as Cornish does set the fastest lap at the moment on this race as Corrie gets a little bit out of shape. DRS is now enabled as the front runners are now closing through the first sections. The detection zone just before just in between turn 4 and 5. We'll jump on with them because they are all in a DRS train. Barenko, nothing to defend with except for his battery. Will flick onto the rear wing. Curator, 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. And is anything going to happen with these? A gap closing. Footy, you just see that little wiggle at the back, trying to keep an eye out, making sure that he knows he's there. Now, Red Bull on Red Bull. The 2 teammates, they don't want to hit each other as they go towards Brooklands. Tom letting that position go to Miniman, and I think that was a smart decision. They don't want to lose out too much. A little bit further back, Kingwolf just about making the move on August as he goes wide through Luffield. Now side by side, this is exactly a Lewis and Max situation, but Kingwolf is ahead. They go in towards Stowe. They both decide to lift, keeping it clean. They're still side by side as they go towards Maggots and Beckett's. Is there a little bit of contact there? Wheel to wheel. They are so close to hitting each other through this section as Kingwolf edges ahead using the grip of them soft tyres. That was some fair and clean racing.
Yeah, it really was.
Oh, there's a little bit of contact there maybe between the 2 of them.
Whoa. Yeah.
Could have been a little bit nasty. So two Haas teammates of Nitro and Corey have exchanged places at the moment, and what I missed up ahead is Cornish has now taken the lead of the Grand Prix. So currently Footy down 2, Barenko down 1, and Cornish is now up 2. The medium tires are definitely working a treat, but we know that the softs have still got life left in them for at least a few more laps left, at least 6 more laps of life in them soft tires before they are coming to the end of, well, come to the edge of the cliff as Cornish goes very defensive up ahead. You can see the train. That's a beautiful camera angle as they go in towards Brooklands. And what can the Ferrari do? Not really that much. The Aston Martin, as Cody gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. It is expected here on this track, but the Aston Martin holding its own. The Ferrari of the debuting Barenko, caught in a Cornish and Footy sandwich, goes wide through, so keeps himself on the track at the moment, and this could give Cornish a chance to open up on the track. As I'll take away the telemetry because we don't want that on the screens, but we will see what the position changes have been. But there they are up on your screen down the hangar straight. They're closing the gap gradually, but again Cornish got a great exit out of Maggots and Beckett's. And breathe.
Yeah. There's a lull now for you to breathe, thank goodness. But
I would say there's a lull. The gap up the front is harsh, and that Ferrari is closing the gap more and more. Here's a Barenko looking to go the outside. Now gets the inside of Village. Can he make it stick? Takes the inside line, swings around to the outside, but now the Cornish has got the inside line. The switchback is there. And it looks like he may have it. It's a side-by-side now going in towards Aintree. And that's the move made. He picks up the DRS as well. So this is going to help him massively down the straight. As Footy gets a toe off Cornish. Looks to move the inside of Brooklands. But it doesn't happen. But he does have the DRS. And Footy is much later on them brakes. He's feeling confident with them medium compound tyres. So I can see these. Oh, as Footy gets squirrely on the exit of Luffield. But Cornish moved to avoid it. And now has lost out again. This is close racing between all these three at the front, as apparently TRF Dave, I don't think my telemetry's updated, is apparently 600ths of a second to Mitch. I think there's something wrong here, but we'll stick with it. The Red Bull pair, Miniman and Tom, clearly team orders are coming in. Follow me and I'll follow him. Does get the DRS, so they are now in a double tow with Dave at the moment, and watch this gap close down. There is 6/10, so 4/10 on Miniman, but Dave is very strong going through Stowe, but just doesn't get a good exit this time round. So Barenko still in the lead. Footy up in P2, half a second behind. Cornish half a second behind again. As Barenko gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and this is now just put Cornish and Footy back in the game. And with that one, Cody, if he can play it safe and play it calm, could actually at the moment capitalize on this 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, whether that will be whether that will matter later on in the race, we'll have to see, because Silverstone is a very tricky circuit, isn't it? You make one mistake and
it is a
penalty.
Yeah, saying that, the VSC has gone off, and I saw August has retired from the session. An incident, by the looks of it, down in Stowe, and also Rob has DNF from the session. I didn't quite see that, what happened there, but we're on board, and it has been cleared up, unfortunately. But it looked like August getting a little bit off, well, a little bit most likely scribbly on the exit, spins the car around and into the wall. So the virtual safety car is deployed. So will the soft runners capitalize on this if it stays on long enough to pit for the medium tires, or if that, the hard compound tires? And speaking of hard compound tire runners, there is Corey up 5 places at the moment ahead of his teammate in the Haas. So virtual safety cars come out, and it's almost like God has spoken. Barenko dives into the pits, doesn't get speeding under the pit lane, speeding in the pit lane, should say. So Barenko has a free pit stop, and now Footy and Cornish are out on the track as they pass each other Virtual safety car is still out, and Barenko probably making the good call. But what tire actually is he going on? He is going on the medium tires. This is going to be 19 laps he needs to make these last until the end of the Grand Prix, which is expected and is achievable. All he needs to do is stay within that 28-second window, I think it is, here in Silverstone to Footy and Cornish, and we could be back in store for another fight as the track goes green once again. Ready to see what happens later on as Dave gets a move made on the Miniman. No, he doesn't. It's the switchback line once again, and here we go now through towards Luffield. How is it going to fare? Now it looks like Dave is stuck in a Red Bull sandwich. What is he going to do? At the moment, Miniman will not have the benefit of the DRS. You can see the slipstream effect that Tom is getting on the Alpha Tauri in towards Maggots and Beckett. Edging closer and closer. He's looking for a little bit of that clean air. He's been stuck behind his teammate long enough. This can affect the engine temperature and the tyre deg on these cars. Does get a good exit out of there. Does pick up the DRS, but he will have a benefit of a double toe. Looking at Miniman further ahead on the track as they close towards Stowe. Is a move being made further back? No, he's not quite close enough this time, and the DRS of Dave is neutralizing the effect of all of that work that has been made. And I'm still trying to find my tires. There we go. Found it in the end. So, looking further back, Barenko out of the pits. Medium tyres got to make these last to the end of the Grand Prix, unless they know that there's going to be some rain coming, but has now made it past and cleared the position, or the Haas of Neo Nitro. So he's going to be trying to make a push, get himself as far up as he can. So we'll watch the delta between the hard and the medium tyre, because the hards are definitely in the window now. Up ahead, for less than half a second, splits the top two drivers who are on the same strategy in the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo. Footy versus Cornish at the moment. Cody behind, 3 seconds of penalties. Anyone's game at the moment as we approach the pit window of the soft compound runners.
Oh, yellow flags.
Sibby, this is the bit where you talk and I breathe.
I know.
I need a drink.
No, you're not allowed. I know. I think it's just a telemetry glitch. I've just been going through the drivers and I don't know why it's saying yellow flags in all 3 sectors. Oh.
Well, yellow flags in 3 sectors usually means a VSC at least, or a safety car. Yeah. All cars are moving on track at the moment, for that what we can see. But we'll go further back. WS Jack, 4 seconds, medium tyres to King Wolf. King Wolf, Tom. Well, King Wolf has closed the gap now towards Tom, because it looks like Dave has been defending too much. And I say that I want Tom to get a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. But if the drivers are seeing a full track yellow, that means that they can't overtake.
Oh.
So could this be an issue? Could this be a glitch that has just neutralized the whole race? As I look a little bit further back, and it looked like WS Jacqueline. No, I say again. Oh, it's Gibbo's AI. So Gibbo's driving under AI at the moment, but now Dave is holding up Tom. His teammate Miniman is open 3 seconds straight away up the road. So King Wolf is in contention here. Dave is trying to defend as much as he can, and you can just see how much these cars are getting pushed back just from this one fight. And this could then mean Jack could close the gap again. We'll have to wait and see. But now Dave will not have any DRS. There's a detection point coming after Magus Beckett into Chapel. King Wolf trying to hug them apexes like there's no tomorrow. There's the wing that opens. Tom strong through Magus Beckett this time round. Gets the. Is he looking to make the move up the inside? Will jump on board. No, he doesn't. He elects to brake early. So I'm curious as if he passed him, but he said an illegal overtake, or he's going for an undercut. He is going for an undercut. Cornish gets a 3-second time penalty, cutting Abbey in turn 1, and it's one of them corners that you got to get precise. This is going to be a big game changer now. Looking further on into the race, because these aren't expecting to stop until at least maybe lap 16 to 18. But look at the overspeed.
Cody. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say, like, Cody's just pitted onto mediums, so I think he was in 3rd or 4th place at the point of pitting. So
yeah, Cody, I believe, was in 3rd place, 10 seconds behind the lead pack. But whilst that was going on, Cornish had so much overspeed coming down the Wellington straight that Footy didn't really go defensive. He just let him go. So these two are exchanging positions, but now Cornish has got the free air that he needs, so he can cool that engine down and save his tires a little bit longer, because that effect does happen in actual F1 and in the game. Your engine overheats and your power output is lessened. And then also you got the effects of aerodynamic loss being so close in the dirty air, and your tire degradation, or tire deg, because I clearly can't say exactly what I want to say. The tire deg is increased on the car behind because of the lack of aerodynamic on the car. So you can just see Footy maybe dropping off a little bit. Cornish does set the fastest lap of the race, and there is a bonus point for the fastest lap. So Cornish took it to extend his lead in the season 1 championship, and Footy doesn't want to have any of it. He wants that race win, and with that 3-second time penalty, a lot can happen. Now, looking at King Wolf, it is Aston Martin versus AlphaTauri.
Oh, Footy's going for Cornish. Sorry. Overtaken on the outside. Yeah,
I've switched to that one now, and that's in Brooklands in towards Luffield. What are they going to do? They're still side by side. The inside line is going to compromise on the exit. Doesn't give the squeeze, gives the space. And it looks like Footy is now in the lead of the Grand Prix, as they are so close to each other as they go towards Stowe. What's going to happen here is almost like Cornish is pushing Footy along in towards Maggott to Beckett, and it's going to be more than likely a DRS changeover, as long as they can both keep pace in towards Maggott to Beckett. It's looking clean at the moment. Cornish a little bit later or earlier on the brakes into Beckett, but now out of Chapel, the wing is open. 13 kilometers an hour extra speed, no more than likely using deployment. There's the move up the inside. It's going to be close in towards Stowe, side by side in towards Stowe. What's going to happen? They keep it clean all the way through, and that is Cornish back in the lead. It was a brave move going up the inside, but manages to make it stick. And can he keep it all the way, as we may see these change positions one more time as they go in towards the hangar straight, as Miniman is into the pits. Corey is up in 8th. Barenko has gone past him and opened a 2. He's 2 seconds behind WS Jack, but Corey is holding his own on them hard tires, up into 8th, half a second behind Barenko. This is maybe a smart move to stick with the hard, as long as he keeps it nice and clean for the rest of the race. As King Wolf is also in the pits, changed onto the medium tire.
Oh, this battle between Footy and Cornish, unbelievable. Such great racing between those two. I think, was it similar on Baku? Was it them two battling out at Baku last time round? Footy's closing on Cornish again now.
Yep, right on board with them. Footy almost give him a little love tap in the gearbox, but does gets a tighter line as well. Actually jump on board with them, and you can just see, I think Cornish brakes very early going into Beckett's. So he's done this a few times, even when he's behind Footy. So Cornish has a tendency to brake early into Beckett, and there's a move that is zero overtake, a zero overtake pass. Cornish can't really respond to that one. So another question though for you, Simmy, is who's going to go for the undercut?
This is it. Whether Cornish will, because of his penalty, I'm not sure. But by the way, quick shout about Corey, who's sat in 6th place on the hards. So yeah, he's one to watch on this track. Obviously, Barenko's pitted onto mediums. He's up to 5th now. Jack in 4th place as well. He's flying. So as you, I'll keep on talking to allow you to.
As I'm good back. Now. I'm back in now.
Yeah, back in the game. Yeah,
I'm back in the game now. Yeah, Jack now up to 3rd, and it looks like we're trying to keep an eye on what's going on up at the front. Dave has now pitted, so all the soft runners have now decided to box, other than Mikey, but he did stop early on in the race. The medium runners, as Cornish and Footy are still going at it side by side. This is definitely a Lewis and Max situation. Down towards Stowe. Who's going to yield first? We're going to have to wait and see. They are still holding their own. Is the squeeze going to get given? No, they give each other plenty of space. This is incredible racing from the two of them. Now side by side in towards Maggins and Beckett's, and Footy tucks in behind. Thinks better than to go side by side there. That is bold and brave. So these two are still going hard at it. Barenko now back up into P3 after the soft tyre runners have now boxed. So they've extended their stint a little bit more. They have gone for an overcut at least. So Jack and Cornish and Footy yet to box on the medium tyres. And with Corey, you said on the hards, he is still going to have to pit for an alternate compound of tyre as per the regulations. So he could go to the end of the race on the hard tyres, but he will have to stop. And I can tell you, unless he messes up somehow, he'll be going onto the soft tyres and try and snatch the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which give him a bonus point. And these two so close up through Abbey into Village, and we'll no doubt see these exchange places once again, as we do have a back marker appear. I think that's Gibbo's car at the moment, but here they are now on to the Wellington Straight. The DRS is open. The camera changed when I didn't want it to change. Looks like a fairly simple move in towards Brooklands. We'll stick with the rear camera at the moment in towards Luffield. Cornish later on the brakes in Luffield, but early through Beckett's. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Coming a little bit further on, Cornish is trying to take the shorter line, while sometimes Footy is still going defensive. No side-by-side action this time through Cops. Little cheeky downshift there as Cornish didn't lift at all. So Cornish held his own, got a lot of time through Stowe in towards Maggots and Beckett's. Keeps it clean and also sticks with him this time. DRS is open. The lapped car of Curator keeping clean off the track. Again, no ERS deployment for this move. And looking at the battery, they are 13 laps in and Footy is over. Cornish is about 82% battery deployment left in that car, whereas Footy is only down to 50%. Cornish almost is like he's not even pushing at the moment, and these two are just exchanging places.
Unbelievable driving, like really respectful driving as well, giving each other room. Very clean. And Jack's caught catching right up with Barenko, so yeah, he's closed a bit of a gap.
He's only just under a second at the moment with them two, but does get a bit all out of shape going through Vale and Club. So the Alpine of Jack is still going strong. But the move up ahead again in Brooklands. Sorry, side by side. I just saw it change on the screen in towards left field again. You got some back markers. Cornish in at the Aston Martin going for the inside line. Keeps it tight. These two are going to be fighting at this rate until the end of the Grand Prix. But they need to keep an eye on their telemetry because Barenko is catching them. And these two still have to make a pit stop. And you're looking at an on-track loss of about 28 to 30 seconds. Tucking in Maggins and Beckett's. Cornish now in the lead in the Aston Martin. Footy right on his gearbox now in the Alfa Romeo. The DRS switch over. Are we going to see that happen? We jump on board. A little dabble of the overtake, and that's all he needs. And these two have exchanged places one more time in towards Stowe. And that's it. That is the Alfa Romeo now in the lead of the Grand Prix. Expecting these two to pit in the next couple of laps, as well as WS Jack and Corey, maybe around about lap 20. But again, looking further back in that Ferrari, Barenko Light closed almost a second on the leaders up at the front. So these two fighting is helping Barenko, but they'll be on the. But Footy and Cornish will be on the soft tyres toward the end of the Grand Prix.
Yep, and we'll have to see what. So Corey. No, he's not really closing on Jack too much, but who we got further at the back? Ninja's gone onto the hards, but he's saying that the lobby glitch for him and Gibbo, so it's the AI driving, as Corey gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's not going to help him.
Not at all. But saying that, Barenko's got a 3-second time penalty. Jack is just is 4 seconds behind, but Jack's going to have to pit again, which will put him down towards P10. Come towards the latter stages of the Grand Prix, probably the next couple of laps. As now with the back markers of Stranger Craig are being lapped by the front runners. the DRS pops open, and I'm hearing from Rosa is that he's Cornish's and Footy's race engineer, and he is telling them to race but no contact. Now there is still 10 more laps in the Grand Prix. Are they going to be able to keep it clean for that whole time? And that looked like a dive into the pits. So Footy has pulled the trigger on this race. He is aimed exactly lap 16. They've extended 1 lap. Cornish is going to have to push like the clappers on this outlap to avoid that undercut. And the pit lane is so slow, it's painful. We'll stay with Footy. We'll see how well this pit stop goes, but I'd imagine onto the soft tyres. There they are. He's in. He's up. The wheels are in. It's a clean release, about 2.6 seconds for this pit stop, and you can just see the gap now. Barenko is the other one to watch. Here he is now. Are they going to be racing onto the exit? Footy is still in the pits at the moment, as now in towards Abbey he goes. There's the pit lane exit on the right-hand side, and Barenko does make it past Footy at this stage of the Grand Prix. 4 seconds he's managed to open, so it looked like Barenko managed to push a little bit more on the medium tyres, but he still has to get them to the end of the Grand Prix, and Footy should be able to catch him. 9-lap hold, medium tyres versus fresh tyres, the softer compound, very grippy, very fast, and you can brake much later. So Barenko has got a lot of work to do, but he is still within the pit window of Cornish. Cornish goes wide on the exit of on the entry to Chapels, should I say. Now Cornish has got no choice but to respond to this. He has no choice. The 26, almost 27-second gap from him to Footy, and that is it. That is the trigger being pulled. So is Footy going to be able to push like crazy to close that gap? And they'll be fighting on the pit lane exit. We'll have to wait and see. 24 seconds as Barenko now comes along the hanger straight towards Stowe. Footy is tagging behind. Has closed 1.6 seconds on Barenko on them soft tyres. So is he going to be able to keep these tyres to the end? He is pushing hard. He wants this overcut to work. Cornish is out on the pit. Well, he's coming out of the pit box. He is now in the pit lane exit. So Barenko will take the lead of the Grand Prix, quite possibly, as Footy, Cornish is still coming to the end of the pit lane. That's one pass. We're going to have to wait and see where Footy comes out in front of Cornish. It looks like he's managed to make the move stick. The undercut, so powerful here in Silverstone, gains at least a second on Cornish. So Cornish is going to have a couple of laps to warm them tyres up, or hopefully this lap, and now make a desperate push. But the gap now up ahead with Barenko and Footy now closed down from 4 seconds to 1.8 as we got a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. It looks like the Red Bull, I think that's the Red Bulls, I believe it is, as lapping each other. I'm trying to see what's going on here. Yeah, that's Miniman and Tom. So keep an eye out for these three up at the front. We'll stick with Tom in the Red Bull for a few moments time, but the top three, you can see that delta coming down more and more. Barenko still with 3 seconds of time penalties, and Cornish as well with a 3-second time penalty. He just needs to keep it clean, and he has a good chance of winning the top spot on the podium, because Barenko has still got at least 7 more laps to get these tyres to the end of the Grand Prix.
And how crucial is Footy not having a penalty going to be in the race as well? So, I mean, how long do you see the soft tyres? Do you think they'll be fine until the end of the race?
The soft tyres definitely be fine.
Yeah,
They'll definitely be fine towards the end of the race, because the cars are now lighter on fuel, so the tyre life is extended by at least a good couple of laps. And if they underfueled the car, then they should be looking at pretty much being right on the money come at the end of the Grand Prix. And the question for Barenko is, can he hold? Can he try and maybe push to keep ahead of Footy? But that gap now, Footy is within DRS range of Barenko as they come through. They're down the hanger straight at the moment in towards turn number 6 of Brooklands. The gap 8 tenths of a second, 6 tenths, 5 tenths. The gap is closing down, and that is all under the braking. But I don't think Barenko is going to have much to do with this one. This soft medium strategy just not quite working out. And if you look a little bit further back in the grid, you've got Cody up in P4, Miniman in P5, King Wolf in 6, and Tom in 7th. And those are your alternate strategy runners. And Barenko, what is he going to do here? He is safe if he pits now up to about P5. So he could stick on a set of softs and go for the fastest lap, try and strip it away from Footy. The DRS.
Sorry, go on, mate.
I was going to say DRS open, looks to go the outside of Stowe, side by side in towards Stowe. They keep it clean, but pretty much Branko does have a switchback line down in towards Vale. What is going to happen here? Footy much later on the brakes. Nothing he can do. A little bit of a tap on the back there. Throws Branko out. This is holding Cornish up. Cornish is right in the gearbox. We're going to have to wait and see what goes on at the back. Side by side in towards Stowe. They want to watch, keep an eye on them wheels. They are nudging each other. Cornish inches ahead. Just on the outside, in towards, as they enter in towards Village. And that is a bold and brave move going in towards the first couple of corners. Now the DRS comeback for Cornish could happen as Craig gets another 3-second penalty. There it is, the train for Barenko. The Aston Martin of Cornish. Is he going to make a move into Brooklyn? No, he's not. He was so close. He had a moment to think about it. And this fight is going to keep going on as we can watch a little bit of the replay of them side by side in towards turn 1, and there they are, the camera switch side by side, and it's almost that could have been a nasty collision there as the front left and rear right come into contact, but they managed to hold their own and kept it clean all the way throughout.
Brilliant racing. This Cornish is right up for his backside again. Oh, you see stuff slightly.
It's difficult to follow. Difficult to follow to Magnus and Beckett's, but Barenko is using the double toe and the DRS to keep within the contending role as Footy now loses out to Cornish just before Stowe. There's plenty of overtakes, but I just see Footy coming back. Quite possibly they're both on the same tyres and they both trying to outbrake each other, but they're both going to brake late because they're on equal lap tyres. Footy getting a blinding exit out of club down the Hamilton straight. Is he going to make a move towards turn 1 into Abbey? There they are, side by side in towards Abbey. Cornish on the inside, Footy on the inside, Cornish on the outside, gets the inside line too. Keeping it clean, but look at Barenko out of nowhere. Them two fighting is helping them out massively in that Ferrari.
He had a brilliant exit as well, which caught him like right up with them both. So, what racing! Unbelievable.
Is 5 laps left to go in this British Grand Prix. What is going to happen? Cornish is desperately trying to open a 3-second gap. Footy wants to get the win. He has no penalty, so currently he is in net P1, half a second behind, but we can expect that to change in the next couple of laps. Barenko in 3rd. That Ferrari on his debut definitely trundling along quite nicely on the given strategy of the soft medium. So, but he does have a penalty. So at the moment, these are going to be your top 3 unless something happens as they go through Maggotts and Beckett's. Cody holding his own in the McLaren in P4. His teammate must have had a little bit of an oopsie down in P16 of Mitch with Miniman and Tom, the Red Bull duo, earning some big points today. King Wolf in the other Aston Martin holding his own up into P6, starting 11th on the grid.
Yeah, and have to bear in mind Cody's got 9 seconds of penalties, which is going to drop him down probably to 7th.
Currently,
we'll have to see how that pans out.
That will only drop him down into dropping down to 6th.
Oh, 6th. Right. Yep. So yeah, he's in a bit of a false position at the moment.
That he is. Now, saying that, when we mentioned Corey on the hards, Corey did pit at some point. I'd imagine it was quite recently from the hards to the soft compound tyre. So Corey now down in P9 and had to make that mandatory pit stop before the end of the Grand Prix, but he's getting held up nicely from Jack, parking that car on the middle of the road, parking it on the apex, stopping him getting past. But once Corey has cleared Jack, it's only 2 seconds later before he's now joining the fight with Tom and King Wolf just a little bit up the road. And I can tell you now, Tom will want to get past King Wolf because he wants the points for the constructors in that Red Bull. So all to play for in the closing stages of the Grand Prix. 4 laps left to go here in Silverstone for the Simcade F1 2021-2022 Championship for charity. I've just added that to the end. I've added the charity bit to the end. Why not? It works.
Why not? Yeah, what the hell?
Why not?
But Corey just got past Jack, by the way, as Jack's right on his tail.
Oh, that he is. Yep, sorry, I was looking one car ahead for that one. But also, I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new record for the season. Is as Corey gets a 3-second time penalty. That is not what he wants.
Oof.
So Corey was 6 seconds. This has now put Jack and Dave into contention. So Corey needs to get a wiggle on ahead to clear Jack and Dave. So he's just about cleared Dave. So Corey now back in P9. Net P9. But I must say, we do have a record set today, ladies and gentlemen. And it goes to our very own Last Ninja Cow, who has made 10 pit stops in this Grand Prix.
He's just stopping to get Haribo or something. That's what it is.
He's stopping to get Haribo on his way around. So Ninja, yes. I know you're listening, but congratulations, you are currently the record holder in Simcade. So we need to give you your own little banner or something for 10 pit stops in a Grand Prix. Gibbo, unfortunately, down in P15, but he is also disconnected from the game. I would imagine that's the case. So DRS, Jack on Corey. Corey's holding his own on them soft tires. So we still have a fight going on up ahead between King Wolf. So Tom has got past King Wolf now. The Red Bull duo, Miniman and Tom, 5th and 6th on the grid, but all have penalties. And I'll have to bring up my penalties one more time just to see what they are and what they have been. So 3 seconds for Miniman, 9 seconds for Tom. So it's all going to change in the mid pack. And speaking of penalties, Footy has just got a penalty of 3 seconds.
Oh.
So this is now a fight at the front of the for the lead of the race, and this is a lead that will stick as it looks like Corey is making a move on King Wolf, clears that Aston Martin. The Haas now up into temporarily P7 post penalties, so it could even be up to P8. So it's a move easily made on the Hanger Straight just before Stowe up turn 15, and Corey now chasing down the Red Bull of Tom and trying to get ahead of him as quick as he can with 2 laps, technically 3 left in this Grand Prix. And now Cornish and Footy up ahead. They must have been trying to play a little bit cool on the tyres, on the fuel, but now Footy has no choice but to push for the win of this Grand Prix, because they both have 3 seconds of penalties to their names. So this is definitely a fight for position. A little bit further back, Jack making a move on King Wolf. Has King Wolf got an issue, or their medium tires just could be on the cliff? There is 3 laps left to go, and we can imagine that that would be the case. He is on 11 lap old medium tires. Barenko 16 lap old medium tires. It just needs to hold his own, but something's happened up at the back. Footy's around. Footy's got around. So Footy losing it in Club Corner, the same place that we lost AJ in qualifying. And that has just ruined his race completely with 2 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Footy must be absolutely devastated, but all he needs to do is keep his head down and close the gap. And I'm flicking through to see what the penalties times are at the moment. It's 3 seconds each. If Footy can hope that Barenko makes another mistake, then he could definitely be in the contention. So he just needs to close that gap a little bit more to 3 seconds, and he will still be able to get P2. But currently Cornish looks in a good position to win the British Grand Prix for the Simcade Charity Season 1 League. Renko in P2, Footy unfortunately in P3, and we said that he could catch people out, and unfortunately the second victim of Club has prevailed, as well as the several into Abbey.
I'm knackered hearing you speak.
I'm knackered speaking, and I've got to do.
Yeah.
I've got to do Spain practice after this as well.
Oh, so, you're joking.
Nope. But
yeah. Sorry, I was going to say Jack's in a bit of a false place at the minute. I think as it stands, he's going to move up to 6th potentially. So, poor Footy though. Like, he'll be gutted. He's driven so well in this race, and just one mistake. And but yeah, I mean, he's sitting pretty in 3rd now. But he'd still be angry with himself, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I know the pain, I know the feels, and I know
all the feels,
and I know it hurts. But unfortunately, this is racing. Anything can happen in the closing stages as we have started the final lap of this Grand Prix. As it looks like Cornish has now just gone past, just got past Luffield and through Woodcott. That was another corner that I may have missed. Jack still scrapping with Tom up ahead. So Jack did get past him temporarily, but it looks like Tom has come back at him and is saying no. And saying that, Tom gets another penalty. So that's going to put Tom down easily in towards P9 to P12 as Footy now gets another penalty. 6 seconds. He just needs to keep it clean ahead of Cody. And try not to receive any more because the gap was closing to Barenko, who manages to get it on the medium tyres. But now Cornish, here he is. He's still your current season leader. He rounds the final few corners, brings it after club into the Hamilton straight, weaves across the line, and Cornish wins the Grand Prix of Britain, i.e. Silverstone. Barenko crosses the line into P2, and Footy, unfortunately for him, and a little incident up in club the lap before brings him up into P3. Now, what is going to happen in this mid-pack battle? Cody, 22 seconds behind, so we've still got a little bit of time before he crosses the line. The lap cars will cross the line. There goes Craig and Mikey. Cody, 22 seconds behind. 9 seconds of penalties in that McLaren. Currently in P4. Miniman in P5 with... looks like he did enough. Yes, he did. By 0.3 of a second to Cody. Corey crosses the line, holds his position in P6. What is Jack going to do now? Jack, Tom, Kingwolf. There's a lot of movement going on in the back. Jack crosses the line, Tom crosses the line, Kingwolf crosses the line. No changes from them at the moment as we wait for Dave to cross the line. Dave jumps up into 8th position. Tom in 9th, Kingwolf down into 10th. And Neo Nitro is the last person to cross the line, but Miniman holding P4 by 0.3 of a second. Kingwolf holding P10 by 0.6 of a second. But the winner of the British Grand Prix, as we wait slowly for Neo Nitro to cross the line as he rounds Vale into club down the Hamilton straight, holds position in 11th place just outside of the points.